I did.
You would be able to see the screen.
I did.
All right.
All right, we live.
We lit?
Hold on. Oh yeah, we live.
Bad. What up, Dino? How you living, bro? See Phil?
What's good?
Good. Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Cuttin Deep. I'm excited to be back with y'all.
Yes, sir. We missed you last week.
Yeah, man. I miss y'all too. I was actually thinking about y'all
Yeah.
while y'all were doing the jump. I'm like, I wish I could be there, yo. But I'm glad y'all had a good substitute in Fred. Nice,
He alright.
He was
nice,
alright.
a nice guest.
I didn't know what he was talking about, but
We'll talk about that another time.
We love you, Freddie.
Yeah, we love you, Fred. But it's good to be back. So real quick, how were y'all weeks? What went on with you all?
My week has been rough, bruh. Like, everything that happened on Sunday just threw me. Sorry. I was just starting to feel myself Thursday, bruh. Cause it in my head it's still not even real.
every time I hear it, I'm like, yo, ain't no way that actually happened.
Like, for y'all that didn't pick up what we talking about the passing of Kobe, and it's just I'll see it on the news right now, bro, and it's still doesn't register in my head. It don't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
It literally does not make sense.
It doesn't feel real yet. I mean, it's not like we be around Kobe, but it still doesn't feel like he's actually gone.
Yeah, his presence was crazy. One of the most influential people, easily in our era,
Yes.
but easily all time.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. But yeah, we pray that he knew who Jesus was. That's the only hope we have. And we pray for his family too.
Yeah, they going
But
through it.
real quick, my week was alright. It was a very busy and productive week, but it was tiring emotionally and mentally because God is moving pieces around and he's really seeing if I'm gonna trust him with some things. And it takes a lot to be everything everyone needs you to be. You know, husband, father, brother, co-worker, son, whatever it is. And then, while, just trying to manage everything, it's a lot. It could be a lot at times. So, I'm thankful. We were talking about this earlier. I'm thankful for responsibility, but it was a lot this week. Yeah. It was.
I feel that.
But we're going to chop it up today about Christian liberties is the umbrella topic, but narrowing the focus a little bit, we want to talk about CHH, or what you all, if you don't know what that means, Christian hip hop. And it's been a crazy debate for some years between, Christian hip hop circles and just in secular circles also, like what it is, what are the lines, should we draw a line here, so I think we should really dive into this topic a little bit. And what do you all think about the idea of CHH when you think of CHH? What are your initial thoughts?
You cooking something.
You go first. All right, Deion, tell the people at home what CHH is.
All right. So
How do you define what it is? Because I'm promise I'm not gonna agree with you.
you promise me? How you know that?
Go ahead.
So it's almost become a thing that's undefinable. And what I mean by that is, I don't even know what I mean by that. It's people who are Christians that don't cuss in their music and they claim to be Christians are what I think most people will see as Christian rappers now. Where before, to be considered a Christian rapper, you had to be explicitly talking about something biblical, something about God, something about Jesus. You had to be explicitly talking about it. Yeah. And now I don't think it's that way. Not saying that's a good or a bad thing, but I think now it's just a thing where if you are a Christian, you call yourself a Christian, and you don't rap about the bad things, then you're a Christian rapper. So you could, theoretically, you could be rapping about
the bad things,
sunshines and rainbows, and not mention God, and could consider yourself a Christian rapper.
Okay. Hold on. So we're talking about either people are either Christian hip hop or secular. Like, is because I feel like that's how people try and divide it and define it.
Yeah.
I don't think, because like, one, what's the line? Like, how can you determine who's secular and who's Christian hip hop? I know some people who are Christian hip hop who curse in their music. Right. I know some people Christian hip hop and they don't even talk about God, but they're Christian hip hop. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I know some people who are secular who are Christians and talk about God in their music. So it's like,
question.
How can you determine? How do you draw the line? How can we say, oh, you're secular or you're Christian hip hop? Like, when there's so much diversity across music, just in general. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a great question. And I think what can help shed light to that is understanding why some Christian rappers don't like being called Christian rappers. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that can shed some light onto why or how we can distinguish Christian rap, secular rap. So like, what do you all think? Like, why do many Christian rappers hate to be labeled Christian rappers? Like, why is that?
So, I mean, first off, I can understand why there are labels because, you scroll on Apple Music, they have different categories. In terms of marketing, the labels and the artists are trying to sell themselves. So you have to kind of define yourself on where you fit in the landscape of other artists. For sure. I can get that from one point of view. But I know a lot of artists don't like being labeled Christian artists because it puts off the perception that my music is just for Christians.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that having that label can sometimes limit you as an artist.
Right.
So if I say I'm a Christian rapper, people will think I just rap to Christians, for Christians, and about Christianity, and that's it.
Exactly.
So people who are not Christians might see you and think, oh, that's not for me. Oh, all right, that's cool, but it's not for me. If you're just a rapper who's Christian and you talk about all these, whatever comes out of your life, you know what I'm saying, naturally, if you're not labeled as that and you're just a rapper who's dope, people who are not Christian might be more open to listen to you.
That's true. Yeah.
And I use the example of Icon Nation. Like, Icon Nation isn't a Christian clothing brand per se, in the sense that it's not primarily just for Christians.
Right.
Our stuff is for everybody. So for me, I would never want to give people the idea that this isn't for them because they're not Christian. Most of the people that wear Icon Nation aren't even Christian.
Right.
And really our whole thing is, our faith directly inspires everything that we do in our designs and our approaches and everything. But we're doing this to give to the world because we want to give these messages and spread what we want to spread throughout the world, not just to Christians. Like, it's dope if Christians can appreciate it and like it and it resonate deeper with them, but we also want it to resonate with everybody else. Like, it's primarily for everybody else, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But with that said, like, I'm not gonna ever, if somebody called Icon Nation a Christian brand, I'm not gonna correct you or run from that title of being a Christian. Like, I'm just never gonna do that, just because that's who we are at the end of the day. But in terms of marketing ourselves, we don't label ourselves a Christian brand because it's just like if you're super healthy, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna go to the Common Market or the Fresh Market or Whole Foods because those are the healthy grocery stores.
Right.
So, things that are labeled fast food.
Yeah.
Say there was a fast food restaurant that wasn't unhealthy, but it was fast food.
Yeah.
As a healthy person, you're probably not going to go there because it's labeled fast food.
You're going to be a little hesitant.
It's not. You're going to see it and think, oh, that's not for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a good point.
So.
And I think, actually, real quick, I'm going to chime in, I'll let you go. I think, and that can be consistent with a lot of different things. Like, I feel like Christians get labeled as Christians, and which is a good thing because the Bible teaches we should be noticeably different, right? We should be different than the world. We shouldn't look like the world. But that doesn't mean that everything we do needs to have the Christian label in front, right? Steph Curry is an athlete.
He's not a Christian basketball player.
He's not a Christian basketball player.
Yeah.
Like our boy Fred, right? Fred is an artist. Fred's not going to, label himself as a Christian artist.
But some people do, and that's cool.
Some people do, and that's fine.
Cool. Yeah.
Exactly, that's fine. So it's not wrong for people to say, oh, he's a Christian athlete or he's a Christian artist. He's a Christian economist. Because that's true. That's who you are. But I think we as humans are so quick to just put people in a box and say, this is who you are. This is how you have to act. And that's not always the case. Like, Christians definitely need to look and live like Christians. But that doesn't mean they have to carry the title Christian in front of everything they do.
Right.
Because their life gives that off.
It should
the
just be natural.
doesn't give that off. Exactly. Yeah. What do you think?
So I'll push back on that a little bit.
Okay. What
Here
you
we
think?
go.
And the reason I say that is because I think it's different with Steph Curry, for example.
Okay.
There's not different types of basketball. And so, obviously, you're not going to say Steph Curry is a Christian basketball player because there's not another type of basketball player.
Christianity doesn't inform him playing basketball.
Exactly.
Okay.
But there's definitely things, Christian literature, that is distinctly Christian.
Writer.
Or a Christian writer. And so, I think with Gucci, right?
Mm-hmm. Gucci Mane or Gucci?
Gucci Mane.
I thought you was talking about the Gucci loafers.
Nah,
hey.
Gucci Mane, the rapper.
Yeah.
He's a trap rapper.
That's my uncle, too.
Oh, my goodness. This man.
Go ahead.
He's a trap rapper. Mm-hmm. And, like, at the end of the day, everybody... He's the godfather of trap rap. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, everybody acknowledges that. Mm-hmm. And so I think if you're not a Christian rapper, or if your primary intent is to not spread Christ through your music, and you're just rapping just to like rap, like I just wrote a song. I'm a Christian. I'm a rapper. I'm not gonna write about anything wilding, but I'm just gonna write a song about walking down the street. Mm-hmm. Then okay, I understand. Like I'm not getting the Christian label title, but I think if you are going to try and spread Christ through your music, and you're going to, that's your intent of rapping. Yeah. I don't think it's wrong for somebody to be like, "Yo, you're a Christian rapper."
Agreed. Yeah, that's what we said.
No, and I don't think
it's wrong at all.
At the same time, I don't think you should run from that.
Yeah,
because that's your intent.
Right.
I agree.
And so, I think the line is blurred because I think there are people who primary intent is what I said, is to spread the gospel through their music in whichever way, whether it's rapping the entire book of Deuteronomy or the entire book of Romans just straight through. like Shylin has a lot of theological rap.
Facts.
Or if it's rapping about your like NF, rapping about your testimony, how God worked in your life, and you don't necessarily mention Bible verses, but you're rapping about what you've been through, and it's still trying to spread Christ through it. I think either way, if your goal is to spread Christ, I don't think you should run from that label.
Right. Yeah, I don't think any Christian I don't think as a Christian, I don't think any Christian, knowing what that means to be a Christian, like this is this is our identity. Like we shouldn't run from that label if somebody puts it on us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we don't have to market ourselves as a Christian. I have a great example because you brought up writers. C.S. Lewis. When we was in like second grade, and they was making us read Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah.
He was just a writer. I didn't know he was a Christian writer until like
older.
Like
exactly.
3 years ago.
Exactly.
Like you know what I'm saying? And Chronicles of Narnia is about Jesus,
It
like
is.
literally about Jesus. And they had us reading that in school. Of course, like they probably didn't. The school system wasn't.
They
into all that.
They were to catch it.
Yeah, it went over their head. They thought it was about a lion and
They
witch
had
in the
no
wardrobe?
idea.
yeah,
no
all that
idea.
stuff. But he was just a writer, and because he was just a writer, his stuff was in the school system, and like we was getting exposed to like deep things. Like even if we didn't understand it all, like, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's why, like, if he was a Christian writer, his book would not be read in like all the public schools that it would be read in, especially not today.
Yeah. So. And I just think I agree with everything y'all said. I think it's important to bring closure to that, to know it's not wrong to be labeled that way, and you should always appear to be a Christian in everything you do.
Of course.
Like, it's never wrong for someone to say you're a Christian this. That's actually a good thing, that they see something different about you. But I agree with the marketing standpoint. If you want to reach a lot of people using your mode of ministry, I don't think that you have to say I'm a Christian rapper. I don't think you have to say that. I firmly believe that the way you live speaks more powerfully than your title. The
Always
way you
facts.
live is going to go miles beyond what you could say you are, or what people might say you are. I think the way you live, right, and go back to music, because we were talking about different things, but just the music. If your music is drawing people to Christ, then it's in the discussion, in my mind. In the discussion, because your music is your ministry. You know, hooping is your ministry.
Yeah.
Working, you know, for a company, that's your ministry. You know, whatever you're doing in life can serve as ministry opportunities regardless of what title you may have.
And I think on that same note, if you're not doing that,
you're in the wrong.
You're in the wrong.
That's
I don't think you should be
situation.
calling yourself a Christian.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because to kind of flip everything we've been talking about in reverse, if I'm calling myself a Christian rapper and if the only perception of people, of me that people have is through my music, and I'm not rapping about the right things, that's a bad place to be in.
Or at least being honest, because like, at least being honest in your music and bringing it back to, because you know some Christian artists, for the sake of being real, they'll you know, glorify a lot of things, or like talk about their life before Christ, but glorify it, like as if it was what you want to boast about. But as a Christian, like we're not boasting about our past things. You know what I'm saying? We're not even boasting ourselves now. We're posting about Him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's facts.
Because the thought that brought me up is there's a lot of secular rappers that will put God in their music, and
100.
us as Christians, we know, okay, what you just rapped about a bar before and a bar after don't make sense with what you just said in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
Or even more, or on a whole nother tip, what you say in your music isn't consistent with how you live. Like it always points back to how we live, right? That's what the Bible teaches. Our fruit, our deeds are characteristic of what we believe, who we are, right? What our heart condition is. So if we say, and not we, because we're not the rappers, if Christian rappers say that they're Christians, but their life isn't consistent with that, that's something that we have to be careful of. Like, we shouldn't indulge in music like that, in my opinion, which leads me to the next topic. Do you all think, because I know some Christians who, you know, believe it's okay to listen to secular music, right? Some Christians believe that, I can only listen to Christian music or CHH. What do y'all think about that? What are your thoughts on that?
I would
pass that thing to you.
I will honestly spark you up if you say I can only listen to Christian hip hop, because you can't even define what Christian hip hop is in 2020.
That's a good point.
Like, because of what we're talking about. Like, there's people under the Christian hip hop category who do not talk about Christianity, them being a Christian, God, and any spiritual thing.
And
so you're saying they might as well be a secular rapper.
And they curse in their music. Yeah. So it's like, what is Christian hip, like? It's like what Dion was saying. It's a fluid thing. It's not
a rigid
category.
concept.
It's not a rigid category of actual people who are in it and who are not. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole and then secular that, I think that doesn't help anybody, because you know what? Go to anybody's wedding.
That's a fact.
Go to anybody's wedding. You know what I'm saying?
They're not playing all Christian music there.
Some of the best wedding songs, all right, so let me back up. Secular isn't fair because there's many things that there's many Christian values that manifest themselves in music. Like,
okay. So what do you mean? Chop that up.
Amazing wedding songs.
Okay. Yeah.
Who's the most vulgar rapper that you know? Just think of off the top of your head the first person.
That curses the most?
Nah,
Curses
just
Just
vulgar.
talks about the most out of pocket.
The most secular rapper that you know, or can think of.
That I've heard growing up, it's probably Wheezy, bro.
Wheezy.
Yeah.
Nah, my man's Weezy.
It's probably Wheezy. Wheezy's off the chain.
Wheezy.
He's off the chain.
Yeah, Wheezy, bro. You know what I'm saying? So if Wheezy makes a song about his love for his daughter, and regardless of the words that he's using, if he's making a song about, say he's cursing or not cursing, if he makes a song about the love he has for his daughter and being a father, is that secular? Or the content of what he's saying, that's what we all affirm as Christians, and that's what, like, fatherhood and like that's like a strong concept that we all need to, like, yo, that's what's up. Tupac, Dear Mama, that's a song to his mother. He doesn't curse in it, and it's one of his biggest songs, and that's a Mother's Day song. Like, you hear that on the radio every Mother's Day
all the time,
and like it's one of the realest songs, a heartfelt song. So if somebody finna sit back and call that secular and say that's throw it away because Tupac made it, like, but look at what the song is affirming.
So
you know what I'm saying?
I think people where the problem comes, not saying that I have a problem with it, but the general Christian community is they'll take that song and then they'll look at how Tupac lives and just cancel Tupac.
But it's people are more diverse than just, like, you can't judge people like that, you know what I'm saying? Because people, like, you know what I'm saying? People have multiple layers. Yeah.
I mean, for me, like, look, but last week, 2 weeks ago, I binged all the Kendrick albums. Kendrick was my dude. I'm not listening to it every day, but, like, I was like, yo, I want to listen to Kendrick. I listen to Section 80, listen to Good Kid, all of that. But I think what a lot of people do is they'll see, because if you think about it, right, how many people are you gonna see have a whole playlist of hymnals, Lecrae, and have like one Tupac song in there? I think.
What are you trying to say?
I think what people do is they take the whole person and they'll just throw him out. So even
throw
if
the whole person away.
Yeah.
Throw him all away. Like,
so,
just throw. That's crazy.
And I think that's why, like you were saying, the line is blurred. Because if the first song that I ever hear from Lil Wayne is "Tie My Hands," I don't know if y'all know that song off the Carter 3.
Carter 3, man.
That song is like
C3.
If that's the only song you ever heard, and then you heard any other Lil Wayne song, you'd be like, whoa. But if that's the only song you knew, right, and you had that on your playlist, just next to Lecrae, or I think he cusses in that song, so let's use Dear Mama. If the song that doesn't have any curse words, it's about his mom, and that's the only song you knew about Tupac, didn't know anything else, it's like, what's the difference between that song and a song, same thing with a Christian rapper, who you don't know anything else about, one song, and they make just one song, and then it's not blasting Deuteronomy, Leviticus, and all this. It's just he's just rapping about his life. You're not gonna be able to tell the difference between those two songs.
Exactly. Like, people act like unless you're in the church, there cannot be anything positive in your life. Like, God created marriage. God, like, things like fatherhood, love, sacrifice, doing well for other people, you know, looking out for other, just being 100, like, there, like, loyalty, respect, like, there's a lot of value. All of these values exist in society as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So just cause you could sell drugs, you could be any type of person. That doesn't mean, like, you can just throw somebody's entire being and experiences away. That doesn't mean that there's nothing real that exists within their life, or, like, they don't know any things that are true. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And I don't think that's fair to label people as secular, like, as a whole. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because before I came to Christ, like, I wasn't a Christian, but I knew what it meant to. I knew fatherhood is a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I knew if I was a father, like, I would be a good father. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, like, I know what respect is. I know what love is. I know all these different type of concepts. You know what I'm saying? And you can't just act like because these people aren't in the church that they have no idea of how to be a human being with dignity and decency at all,
or at least moral, just morals.
Yeah. Like those things exist in society. Right. So how can you just say these people are secular and have no morals? Like that doesn't exist. Like that's not how it is. You can't just throw people away like that.
I feel you. When I think about this topic, I think of a couple things. And first, I think of myself. Personally, I choose to refrain from listening to as much secular music as possible, simply because I know what it does to me. You know what I mean? I can't say that for every other Christian out there, that it does the same thing for them.
So how do you gauge?
So yeah, let me chop that up. So for me, the reason why I choose to not listen to secular music is because, one, if I can't, and this is kind of what you were just touching on, if I can't relate to what they're talking about, right? Lifestyle to lifestyle, I can't listen to it. And it actually affects how I think, right? Music is very powerful. Out of all the modes of entertainment, right, or media, music, I think, is the most powerful. And the reason why I say that is because music is something, right, physically, that goes into your ears, sound waves into your brain, whatever, and your brain creates pictures, right, images, right? And music, more than any other mode of entertainment, sticks with you the longest, and it's the most prevalent. Like, let me ask you this. I was talking to a couple of people about this a while ago. My dad was one of them. And when you wake up in the morning, you don't necessarily, and I know this happens for me. I don't know if it happens for y'all, because I listen to a lot of music. I think y'all do too. When you wake up in the morning, you're not first thinking about the movie scene you watched last night.
Never.
More times than not, right? If you wake up in the morning, not more times than not, because that's not for everybody, but for myself, the first thing I think about is a lyric, a song lyric, right? Throughout your day, right? You're not really thinking about a movie scene or a play you might have saw or anything like that. Music lyrics, for people who listen to them, come to mind very quickly. Yeah. Whether it's secular or CHH, right? It comes to mind very quickly. So for me, I can't listen to it, because if I listen to enough secular music, or not secular, but rappers who I know I shouldn't be listening to because the lifestyles that they live don't connect with mine.
I like that definition a lot better.
Yeah. If their lifestyles aren't connecting with mine, and I'm listening too much to that, I will literally start thinking and overthinking things I should not be thinking about. Like, no secular artist has caused me, and this is by the grace of God, I praise God for it, but has caused me to live out something I know I shouldn't do.
A lot of people do that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think for myself, and I'd advise others too, I'm not going to tell anyone how to live, but I firmly believe that listening to too much secular music, right, as a habit, meaning daily or even weekly, right, as a habit, is dangerous. It is. But I definitely think that it's okay to appreciate the art and the gift.
And that's what
I firmly believe it's okay to appreciate the art and the gift, because some of the best music out there made, just talent-wise, artistically, are from secular rappers or secular artists in general. What do y'all think about that?
And to piggyback off of that.
Wait, question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how do you determine what is secular?
Okay, so for me,
because there's Christian rappers I don't connect to, like, by your standard. Because
agreed.
Like, you look at, Seven.
Yeah. Seven, yeah.
He was in like a gang with, like, he's tatted all on his face, and like, but he wasn't from like a street gang like Blood or Crip. He was from like some different type California gang culture that I have no idea about. Yeah. So I don't listen to his music because I don't connect with where he's coming from. Yeah. But he's Christian hip hop. So like, how do you determine what's secular to you?
For me, what's secular is anything that, and honestly, you have to. It's sad that it's gotten to this point, but you have to separate. And y'all were talking about this, separating the artist, the person, from the music. I think you have to separate them because someone could be talking about something completely different than what they actually live.
We talked about it last week.
Yep. They could be doing something completely different than what they actually live. So for me, I look at the lifestyle.
Yeah.
The lifestyle for me is a secular or a worldly lifestyle.
So that you see in the music, or that you see the person?
That I see in the person. So I steer clear from listening to their music because more times than not, what the lifestyle is comes out in the music. More times than not. That's not all the time.
So what they portray from their image of what you see, not necessarily, because we don't know these people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't know them from Adam.
So
we don't know who they are.
So you're looking at how they portray themselves.
I'm looking at their fruit. I'm looking at their life. What and all of what we can see, because we don't see everything
on Instagram.
All we see is social media, and we can not take their word, but we can analyze what's in their music. And we can actually, you know what, because YouTube has been great for this, you can see who they are in interviews. Like, those are things that you can use to really look and see, like, okay, how does this person really live, right? And to an extent, all we have is what we are presented with. We don't know them any more than that. So for me, I steer clear of people who I can gauge, because you can't really completely tell, but you can only tell from a few things, what lifestyle they really live. And if I feel like it's not consistent with what I believe, and if it's not going to point me back to a place of honoring God, and it's going to steer me down a path of thinking and overthinking those lyrics to the point where I might even act on them, I got to steer clear.
So it's a combination of all of those things.
Yeah. Got to steer clear from it.
And so for me, to piggyback off of what you just said, I think there's two definitions of secular music. And one is more of the literal definition of, if it's not God, it's secular. Which technically classical music could be secular in that aspect.
That's true.
And then there's another one that I hold more to, and it's kind of what Jonah was saying, was that, what are you really saying? So for me, the line is like, I don't have music with words, at least. If it has any type of cussing, if it glorifies any type of sin,
sex, money, violence, whatever it is,
all of that, I'm not downloading it.
Not at all. Can't
now,
do